Mona is an incredibly enigmatic character that forces us to go with her on a journey to find an item from her master's arch-rival who turns out to be Alice, Klee's mother. She is a hydrocatalyst user and one of the few characters that has a unique dash that can interact with aquatic environments. Ever since Mona was released, travelers have been nutting themselves due to her slender physique, disproportional leg-to-body length ratio, and obviously, her astrological skills that apparently require her to wear skin-tight clothing. And yes, this seems like a very strange topic, but this is the kind of lore that I want to cover, lore that is fun and sometimes even a little wacky. So while everyone is focused on the similarities between the Honkai character Mobius and the potential identity of the Sumeru Dendro Archon, here I am hoping to lighten up the mood. Let's find out if Mona's slender physique constitutes a little psychology in Teyvat. You may be thinking, Keeper, there are many characters in Genshin Impact that are smaller than Mona. In fact, she's probably one of the taller females in the game, to which you are correct. But she is possibly one of the few characters that has a backstory that actually ties her character design to, more importantly, her magnitude of fan service. All of the other characters portray levels of fan service purely for the fan service itself, but Mona's fan service can actually be explained within the lore. Don't believe me? Then let me take you down this rabbit hole and we'll see if you still think this is ridiculous when we're through. So, as usual, we're going to go through the only quest that we have with Mona and then get into an analysis. And no, I'm not making this video just so that I can comb through all my footage of Mona. Really, I'm not. Seriously, please stop judging me because you're watching this too. So, what do we know about Mona? To start off, we only have one quest with her, two if you count her appearance in the Unreconciled Stars event. However, in the latter, she really only appears to assist in reading the stars with her hydromancy, and although there is much to talk about with her hydromancy itself lore-wise, that is not the focus of this video. So, coming back to her side quest, Beyond the World Stars, which I must admit is a name that is quite the over-exaggeration regarding the contents of this quest, we find Mona on her mission starting in Liyue and making her way towards Mondstadt. Now, if you've never used waypoints before, and I'm going to assume that's none of you, you would know that walking from Liyue to Mondstadt is a true feat indeed. But this makes me wonder why Mona didn't just use the waypoints, considering how she's a vision bearer and we know that all the Allergenes can use all the waypoints, not just the Traveler. Anyways, getting back on track, Mona first decides to help out her friend Zhu, who has lost a very precious ring. With the help of the Traveler, we retrieve it from some baited slimes, and he rewards Mona handily with 20,000 Mora. We head over to Wangshu Inn, where Mona treats us to a meal for our hard work, and Paimon, as greedy as she is, orders the world, using up all of Mona's, or more truthfully our, earnings, forcing Mona to order plain noodles.
Then, I'll just have some vegetarian noodles, please.
All right, a bowl of vegetarian noodles, was it? Please wait a moment. We'll serve you shortly.
The Traveler and Paimon deduce that Mona is actually broke and elects to use their near infinite funds to make Mona a truly delectable dish, golden crab. Brimming with delight, she scarfs it down, revealing her possibly malnourished condition before the three continue onwards.
This golden crab is too delicious. I have never eaten anything this good in my life. I never knew that my disciple was this skilled. As your master, I am most comforted.
They next encounter a band of bandits, and yes, that is the correct word to use when describing a number of bandits, believe me. Mona correctly outs them as thieves trying to deceive them into journeying together only to rob them later, and then handily defeats them in combat. It becomes clear that using hydromancy also drains her of a lot of energy. And finally, they reach Mondstadt, and Qilin coincidentally appears. Mona prepares herself for a fierce battle, but the Traveler and Paimon stop her as Qilin is apparently completely unaware of her lineage. Mona requests from Qilin an item in a box from Qilin that her mother would have left her, and she offers it willingly. Unfortunately, the book appears to be nothing more than a diary, possibly with even less important information than the Dodoko Tales catalyst.
That's wonderful! Wait a moment. Why isn't it locked? And why is it empty?
Huh? Well, it's because I borrowed this box to store my treasures.
Borrowed?
But since you're here for the box, I took all my treasures out. That's why it's empty.
To Mona's dismay, she gives up on her mission, elects not to return to her master in fear of reprimand, and instead asks for assistance from the Adventurers Guild's representative Catherine, who directs her to a sealed residence on the west side of Mondstadt. If she can break the seal, then she can use the residence. Easily breaking it with hydromancy, the owner appears and allows her to rent it out at cost, to her continued dismay, of course. With no other choice, she accepts, and that is where we leave her to her own devices. By the Unreconciled Stars event, she does not appear to be as hungry all the time due to possibly making some mora with the Adventurers Guild, and at least being able to eat possibly semi-regularly. Okay, now for the wacky theory that you all clicked this video for. If you remember the title of this video while I was recapping her story quest for you, you may have noticed a few things. For one, Mona is broke, obviously. She has no mora and therefore cannot nourish herself properly, evidenced by how she was immediately willing to order a dish from Wangshu Inn that virtually had no nutritional value: plain noodles. Seriously, in real life, try to eat a whole bowl of plain noodles. No salt, no seasoning in, nothing. It's rather awful. This event also reveals her stubbornness to save face in the face of embarrassment.
I'd just like to ask, how much do the current dishes cost in total?
Around 20,000 mora.
Then, I'll just have some vegetarian noodles, please.
This unfortunate circumstance, paired with Mona's headstrong personality, has likely caused her to go days, maybe even weeks, eating foods that merely satisfy the volume of her stomach. And when she is presented with a dish like the golden crab, this is what likely gave her the strength to fend off the bandits later on to prove to the Traveler and Paimon how formidable she was in combat. Otherwise, she might have just keeled over due to hunger alone. So, Mona's slim figure may likely be due to her malnourishment of not eating properly while still maintaining enough calories from her skimpy diet to keep her going, hence why she is so insistent on the Traveler and Paimon accompanying her to Mondstadt. The great irony here is that she constantly says she should not use her hydromancy for personal gain, and yet it was her hydromancy that led her to waiting in that exact spot for the Traveler and Paimon to arrive, so that she could use them to earn a living and complete her mission. Let's continue this examination. Oddly, Mona's most notable assets are her legs. Yeah, don't lie to yourself. The first thing you noticed when seeing her were her legs. Okay? Everyone did it. You're not the only one. Alright, you good? Let's keep going. Now, I'm no kinesiologist, so I cannot go into the minutiae of how the mechanics of leg muscle development works here, but considering how Mona is seemingly unwilling to use the waypoints, she must do an incredible amount of walking, which would allow her to develop rather defined leg muscles. So she's got the assets, why not show them off? Just think about it. Mona would have literally no fat, since she doesn't eat anything besides plain noodles and is always on the move, and so would burn those carbohydrates off immediately. Her arms and her legs are likely to be all muscle, albeit not bustling because she clearly does not get enough protein, iron, and calcium. I'm going to guess that Mona's diet consists of berries and apples, considering she does not appear to know how to cook because killing a boar doesn't appear too difficult. All she would need to do is learn how to cook a steak, and she'd probably be jacked. Swole Mona, anyone? Joking aside, do note that she does not have a conventional dash, but instead elects to use her hydromancy to sprint, again using her hydromancy for her own personal gain. How hypocritical of her. She may have this dash lore-wise because she is actually too tired all the time to dash normally, due to her malnutrition, and since she has a way to move around that uses considerably less stamina, why not use this method of dashing, especially if she's tired? At the end of her quest, Mona laments the idea of having to pay rent from the owner of the once sealed laboratory, revealing an intense cognitive dissonance between making mora to live and living without the need for mora.
That should be no trouble with Mona here. She's really good at astrology.
Absolutely not. Astrology is meant to be used to gain insight into reality and observe destiny itself. It's certainly not for such mundane affairs.
We already have seen her abuse her hydromancy for her own needs, even after specifically and continuously saying that it was disrespectful to astrology itself to do so. I would garner that in her next quest, whenever we should get it, we will see a further breaking down of these fundamental principles of hers in place of desiring sustenance, which would actually link her story with the heavenly principles, which hold mortals back from frivolous desires and keep them in check. Mona may actually be an interesting analog for one who begins stubbornly following rules, only to realize that those rules could lead to her downfall because they were designed to serve a different purpose than she originally believed. But this is just my own way of connecting this theory to the heavenly principles, as usual, so don't mind me. All in all, it's easy at a simple glance to assume that Mona is just a very slim girl designed to ogle the primal brains of otakus everywhere. But when we carefully examine her lore and our experience with her, we discover that she looks the way she does for very different reasons. Very specific reasons. So the next time you judge a Genshin Impact character by their looks, just remember, there may be a story behind their design, and simple fan service may actually be the result of a very tragic situation that can allow us players to empathize with the characters that we know and love. But what do you think? Is Mona designed the way she is because her circumstances would naturally make her rather thin, or is it just a coincidence that her story matches her slim physique? Does this change your opinion on Mona at all, that she may not just be a piece of eye candy, but a tragic character that I do hope is given more reprieve from the ever-tormenting fear of being poor for all eternity? And finally, do other characters have backstories that actually explain their fan service? If there are any questions that you would like this channel to answer, jot them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to entertain them. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, add me on Twitter in the description for updates on when I release my next videos, and enjoy some Genshin memes along the way. And thank you for visiting A Little Psychology in Teyvat.